Hey everybody, welcome to another action-packed, exciting episode of Scotty's Record Shop. Before we get to the matter at hand, which obviously you know because you saw the thumbnail and all that good stuff, we're going to take a look at the 80s discography of Bob Dylan. We've been kind of going through his discography bit by bit because he has 40 albums, 40 studio albums that I'm looking at over the course of several shows. Before I get into that though, I want to say welcome, hello, welcome to our new subscribers. We got a few new subscribers from the last video. Uh, Welcome. I say it every video, I pretty much every video I know, but I truly appreciate each and every one of you. I don't do this for fame and fortune. I know I say this every week, but I mean it. I don't do this for fame and fortune, and it's a damn good thing because I ain't getting rich and I sure ain't getting famous doing this. But I'm doing this because I love music and I love talking about music. And obviously, you probably like music too because you're watching these silly things. So thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Don't get me wrong, if this channel grows, and it is growing painfully slowly, I don't know why, is what it is. But I'm not complaining. But please like, please subscribe, please share, and please know that I do appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, Bob Dylan in the 80s. Here, an interesting subject, an interesting time. Bob had like when we were in the 1970s, um, we were talking about the beginning of the decade and how he kind of threw everybody a curveball to kind of get people off his scent. It's like, I'm not your prophet. I'm just a man. And he put out Self Portrait, and we talked about Self Portrait. If you want to know about Self Portrait, I really need to start learning how to do YouTube better and making these playlists so I can make like a set of Bob Dylan playlists. Whoop! Kitty cat wants to get in. Wait a minute, people. Aha! Nosy kitty cats. Anyway, but if you want to know about Self Portrait, look up Bob Dylan. Just do a search in my on my thing, and you'll get a couple of videos, the '60s and the '70s stuff. Anyway, Self Portrait. He tried to throw people off his scent, and that I really believe was purposeful. The '80s, Bob got lost, plain and simple, and this is by his own account too. He's like, music was changing. He was getting lost. There was a lot of drinking involved and stuff. And the odd thing was is he started off the decade as a born again Christian, making Christian music. And by the middle of the decade, he had walked away from that, and it was a train wreck in many respects. There were some good songs, but train wreck. So let's get into this. This is seven, I believe. Only seven this time. There's at least one decent song. That's pretty pathetic for Bob Dylan, but there's at least one decent song on each one of these albums. There really is. But we're going to start off at the bottom. Down in the Groove. Some people consider this his worst album. Um, what's the song on here? Silvio? It's okay. There was covers on here. He was lost. This was right before he got into the Traveling Wilburys, which really revitalized him big time, and we'll see that down the list some more. Because the album that came out after this was really, really good. But at this point in time, I think this was the bottom for him as far as him being lost. Was it his worst album? I don't know. Um, but just, just he was struggling. You know, if you're wanting to dive into Dylan, this is not the place to start. I mean, there's some redeeming value to this. This isn't. People have put out worse albums than this, but it's just with Dylan, the quality, the standards that he had set over the years, the bar was so high, and then to just come out with this, and like I said, he was at this point in time he was drinking heavy. His family was worried about him. He was lost. So anyway, at number 7, Down in the Groove. This one is a little better. I think this is better than some people give it credit for. I'm talking about Knocked Out Loaded. We have some interesting action happening outside. Isn't this great? They're coming to take me away. Ho ho hee hee ha ha. Anyway, it's a beautiful day here in Maine, and the windows are opened. Ooh, they are stopping fairly close by. Anyway, so the windows are open. You can hear everything. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. About damn time. We don't get these too many up in Maine. But anyway, Knocked Out Loaded. Brownsville Girl. Some people would go, it's a lost classic. I don't think I would go that far, but it's a decent song. Again, this isn't a horrifically bad album, but it's really not a great album either. 1986, I believe this came out. The weird thing was he was right about this time he did a tour with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and all the video I've seen of that, it's great. It was really great, and why? Maybe in the bootleg series. We may cover the bootleg series once we're done with his studio albums. I may do that. Hopefully someday the fine folks that put together the bootleg series will put out a live retrospective of his stuff with Tom Petty, because that was pretty good. Of course, what they ended up doing was releasing Dylan and the Dead in '87, which was horrible. Just a pity for both bands, a low point for both artists. The Dead, probably the worst live album they ever made, and Dylan, it was just like, ugh. But if you're a Dylan fan and you've never heard this album because you're like, the '80s suck, give it a chance. You may like it. It's not as bad as some people say it is. It's just not that good. Serviceable. I haven't used that word yet. It's a serviceable album. It's all right. I don't listen to it all the time, but it's all right. This next one was how he started the '80s out. And I should have brought the actual piece of vinyl up because the cover is different. I'm talking about 1980's Saved. Really not liked by a lot of Dylan fans because out of the 3 Christian or gospel albums that he put out in the late 70s, early 80s, this is the most preachy. It really is in your face. Having that in my background and not being offended by it, I'm not the least bit offended by this, but I can understand how people who don't share that perspective would be very offended and very irritated by this. And this was the height of it. I think this is a good album. It doesn't rock as much as Slow Train or Shot of Love, but it's okay. I again, like I said, the record company, there was a picture of like a hand coming down, and it was you could tell it was religious, right? You could tell just by looking at it. It was a drawing. So they put this one, when they reissued it in the 80s, early 90s, and especially on CD, they didn't put that cover. The record company was like, we don't want to scare people away, and I don't think it's not even on the inside. Irregardless, I mean, I think that the record company and Dylan they were both trying to kind of quietly move away from, okay, yes, I did this music, but although in concert he still does some of his gospel stuff. He's a very interesting person. Dylan's a very complex person. You will never get a straight answer from him. What do you believe? Ask him that. And you're not going to get a straight answer. You're going to get a convoluted kind of, because it's his personal stuff, and I guess I don't blame him, but I guess maybe a little bit of Christianity mixed with a little bit of Judaism, because he was a Jew. He was Jewish. and he kind of went back to Judaism in the mid '80s, sort of. But he got mixed up in a lot of other things too. And like I said, the drinking and the depression and the relationship issues and the. But anyway, a pretty good album, in my opinion. Granted, it's you know, let me see here. One, two. It's the number 5, but it's still out of 7. It's okay. Anyway, Saved, 1980. This one I hated when it came out. This is where I think a lot of people, long-term fans, gave up on him. 1985. Just even the cover of this is just. Ugh. Empire Burlesque, 1985. But although I'm not a big fan of 80s production, just not for me. And there's plenty of 80s production on here. And the songwriting is getting kind of the standards going down here some, but there's still some fairly decent music on this. Again, this is one of those, like, when it first came out, and I wasn't a huge Dylan fan back then. I mean, I knew the hits back in, I was like 20 years old when this came out, or whatever I was, and I knew the hits, and I wasn't as deep into them as I am now. And I heard a couple of things on Tight Connection to My Heart, I think I heard that on the radio. It got played a couple times on rock radio, and then they abandoned it because they even gave up. And I thought, this sucks. This is terrible. Dylan is gone. It's over. Throw him in the crap pile. Now that I'm older, and this is not that bad. Again, this is no. This is Blonde on Blonde or Blood on the Tracks. No. But it's not as bad as people, even myself years ago, would put it down to. So if you're a Dylan fan, but you don't want to go into the 80s because it's horrible, Empire Burlesque. Give it a listen. Get in the right frame of mind, though. Don't listen to, like I said, don't listen to Blood on the Tracks and then go right into this. Just maybe listen to some 80s music, Dire Straits, stuff like that. Get your mind into that 80s kind of vibe, kind of feeling. And, hey, you might like this. It has gone up a little bit for me. Again, great album? No. Good album? Not bad. Okay, not bad. Not great. Not bad. Okay. 1981. His last quote-unquote gospel album. He was kind of... This is not all gospel. And I think a lot of his fans were relieved. Shot of Love. There's still some gospel on here. And there's some really nice songs on here. I think that I don't want to say it's a pity that he walked away from his gospel phase. I mean, because the stuff that he came out with later on down the road, especially in the 90s, especially his more recent 2000s kind of renaissance, I'm glad he put that stuff out. We'll get to those things eventually. But this is really not a bad album at all. And honestly, there are people that don't like his gospel stuff that kind of dig this album. This and Slow Train are still accessible, not as preachy as Saved. So it's a little easier for people to it's a little more palatable for people that aren't Christians, who don't care for that type of proselytizing, whatever the word is, preaching. I think this is a pretty good album. I don't mind this album at all. 1981, Shot of Love. Okay, 2 more to go. These are probably, well, obviously, I think they're the best albums he put out in the 80s. I think that most people, again, nothing in this pile is a hot take this time. I don't think there's anything in here. Maybe you would rank this one a little lower or whatever. Maybe maybe Empire Burlesque would be a little lower for you or whatever. That's maybe. And some people, I've seen people rank this a lot higher because they just love it. They love that 80s vibe. And good for you. You're not wrong. It's your thing. I'm really happy. Let me know in the comments, by the way. That's a good thing to do. When you comment, when you do the like button, thumbs up, and you comment, that helps this stupid little algorithm thing in YouTube and actually makes it possible for more people to see these videos. I don't know how or why it does that, but it is what it is. But anyway, the last two I think are really good albums for the most part. 1984? I think this was 84. And I pretty much missed this album when it came out, I'll be honest with you. It was like, he wasn't getting a lot of play on the radio, but we're talking about Desire. For the most part, a pretty good album. The funny thing about this record isn't what's on it, it's what didn't get put on it. For those who collected Dylan for a long time and had bootlegs of Dylan, and now thankfully that we have the bootleg series, there's a song called Blind Willie McTell that first appeared on the volumes 1 through 3 compilation back in 91, 92, whenever that came out. Great archival thing, by the way. The bootleg series, the first one, volume 1, 2, and 3, because it covers everything up to about 91, and really killer stuff. Anyway, Blind Willie McTell. Why on earth was that not put on here? Because it would have been the best damn song on here. I think over half of this is pretty good. He is no longer pushing Christian principles. He's gotten more into his witty, at times sarcastic writing. He was revitalized on this album, I think. Now, I think this is probably 2/3 incredibly good and maybe 1/3 so-so. But I think this is a very listenable album. I cannot remember his name. I watch his YouTube videos. I wish I could remember it. I apologize. He's up in Canada. He does things in his basement all the time. An older gentleman up in Canada, and he loves Dylan. And he was talking about at his employer, he had left a CD of this in his work vehicle, and another employee got into the work vehicle and just said, "Wow, let's play a CD while I'm doing whatever I'm doing." Came back to him and said, "I love this. I didn't realize," because this was 80s and this kid was in the right headset. And the 80s production on this is not too bad. I mean, Mark Knopfler's all over this, but and that's not bad. I like Mark. Anyway, he came back and was like, "I didn't know Dylan was this good. I really dig this album." And it got the kid into Dylan. This album. So, and that's cool, because this is not necessarily what most Dylan fans would consider the gateway into the Dylan world. Not that it's bad. It's a pretty good album. It's actually, I mean, it's number 2 in the 70s. I mean, in the 80s for me. So I think it's a pretty good album, and it's a very enjoyable album. But again, should have put Blind Willie McTell on here. Really should have. If you've never heard that song, there's a great, I believe it was on the bootleg 1 through 3. It was the acoustic version. There's been a couple of them that have been released, but I like the acoustic version the best. Look that up on YouTube. It's just a great freaking song. Anyway, my second favorite album from Dylan in the 80s, Desire. Not Desire. What am I? I'm calling this thing Desire. Oh my gosh. It's Infidels. I keep calling this Desire. I apologize. Infidels. Why? You can tell that I'm blind, right? I hope you guys know that I can't see very well. Okay, so I can look at this, and even though it's not easy to see, it says Infidels. And I knew that Okay, I'm telling this Desire going, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. Desire, we already addressed the Desire album in the 70s. If you want to know where that sits, go into the 70s thing. Please don't type, it's Infidels. Okay, because I've corrected myself already in this video. So if you're typing that right now, if your little fingers are going, don't worry about it. We're cool. Infidels. Ugh. I knew that. Coffee has not obviously sunk in yet. Okay, we know the name of this is the number one album is Oh Mercy because it is big. It's red. Even as blind as I am, I can see that. This is a damn good album. This isn't just the best album of the 80s, and this came out in 89? This was after the Traveling Wilburys thing. And Dylan got his confidence back. He was really doing good. And he put this out. Now, is this the best album he ever put out? No. Is it in the upper half? The top 20 of the 40 albums that he put out? Absolutely. I think so. I think you could put this in at least the top 20, maybe even the top 15. I don't know. Could be. Really, really good album. If you're wanting to start with Dylan in the 80s, your starting point should be either here, Oh Mercy, or Infidels. Remember, it's not Desire, it's Infidels. Yeah, those are the two places to start. This has just got some really nice music. You could tell that he's rejuvenated, and it set him up really good for the 90s. It's like, okay, Dylan fans were like, all right, he's back. And Dylan has done this to us multiple times, where it's like, oh, what the hell are you doing? Oh my God, I guess we're going to have to give up on him. Oh, he's putting out another crappy album. Wait a minute, boom! And he puts out a great album. And everybody goes, oh, okay, he's back, it's cool. And stay tuned for the 90s, but it didn't last. Because we got very disappointed, at least I did, in the 90s, the early 90s anyway. We'll deal with that, in a month, 2-3 weeks, whenever we do the 1990s Dylan catalog. Anyway, the number one album for me in the 80s, Oh Mercy. All right. That does it for another week. Again, welcome to all of you who are subscribing. New subscribers, thank you for subscribing. I sincerely appreciate you. I know, shut up, but I feel that way. I love doing this, and I'm so happy that you guys are actually, some of you enjoy this. So tell your friends, tell your enemies, like, subscribe, yada, 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 you know the deal. Okay, until next time, everybody, peace and love.